Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
Well, oh God, that's not a good start. Well, guess what? Bachelor weekend. I say bachelor weekend. It started on Thursday. My wife went out of town. She had a horse show, so guess what I do? You know, when the adults are away, the mice will play. Isn't that what they say? Something like that? So my wife went out of town. She left Thursday afternoon, like 12 o'clock or something. And she's at Rayford, the prison. She's got a show there in prison, you know, cell block 3. No, she's, I'm not sure where it's at. It's about an hour and a half away. The reason why I tell you it's an hour and a half away is because I have been invited by my wife to spend the last day with her for the show. And I guess they're having like a big dinner and stuff. It's a celebration of one of the trainers' birthday or something like that. And it's not just her out there. She's out there with like hundreds and hundreds of people and stuff. But her group, her barn, her region, you know, the people that she trains with all the time, they're all out there. I think there's like 6 of them out there. So there's like 6 horses and, you know, trainer and all that stuff. So they asked me if I wanted to, or I say they asked me. She said, you know, all the other husbands are coming out. You know, all the spouses, the significant others and stuff are coming out. Do you think you'd like to come out? Yeah, I'll come out. You would? Yeah. It's an hour and a half away. How can I refuse that? Now, if it's 3 hours away, fuck that. I'm not driving 3 hours to sit there and watch paint dry. And that's the way watching horses and stuff. When you see one horse move, you see them all move. You've seen them all move. So I said, yeah, I'll come out. I'll come out on Saturday. And then, you know, both of us will ride back home on Sunday afternoon. I'm so excited. Well, good. Because now that you're gone, you know, I get to get stuff done around here at the house. I don't know what it is, because I was doing stuff like today's Friday. We do the show every Friday. This show, just to give you an update, not an update, just for our new listeners out there. I do this as a mental health show. I'm 52 years old, and I'm realizing now that people look at me and treat me a little bit different because I am, quote unquote, older, but I still have that kid mentality. I want to go outside and play in the dirt. You know, I want to go outside and, you know, ride my bicycle and, you know, throw eggs at houses type stuff. So it's just that whole transformation, the 50. Do they even have over the hill parties anymore? You know, over the hill 50. 50 was over the hill. You don't see those anymore. I remember those in like the 80s and 90s. You know, family members would turn, oh, you're over the hill. What do you mean over the hill? 50? 50's the halfway down the hill. You know, the average life expectancy for adult male, a white adult male here in the United States is what, 74, 75, something like that. Female, I think, is a couple years older than that. So over the hill would be 35. So when you hit 35, you're over the hill. Because then it's all downhill from there. You know, 35 times 2 is 70, and you're close to there. But no, so I do this every Friday. It's a mental health show for me. Hopefully, like I said, I do it just for me. So hopefully my ranting and raving will help you feel better about yourself, feel better about turning 50, and you're not the only one going through certain situations. So I told you that my wife has left. Not permanently. She left. Excuse me. She left to go to a horse show. She competes. This is like a 50-50 training, 50-50 show. I don't know. I don't understand. She says it's, God, what was the word that she used? A symposium. What's a symposium? I don't know. But that's what she's doing. So she's out there doing symposium stuff. But while she's away, I can't believe how much stuff I got done. And the reason why, and I was thinking about it, the reason why I say this is because, you know, I got up, I did my walk. I'm still doing my 4 miles every Monday through Friday. And I come back, made my breakfast. I'm still doing the 3 eggs and the avocado with hot sauce all over it. It's delicious. I've been putting a scoop of cottage cheese in there. It's delicious too. And then I'm like, okay, I'm watching my show. I take my pills. My pills kind of make me either do a BM in the AM, an AM BM, or they make me sleepy. Anxiety pills. So sometimes I have to take like a 15, 20-minute nap. So I sit there and wait for that to kick in and take a little nap and then wake back up. And I'm like, all right, now the day's going. It's like around 10:30 now. Get up. If I have, because I do other different podcasts. If you're watching this here on the This Is 50 YouTube video, you can see all the different podcasts and stuff that I do out of this studio. There's like 3 of them up there. This being one of them. And then start my day. I was going to, while she was gone, I was going to aerate the lawn because we live in North Carolina and we have California clay. California clay? Carolina clay. California's got their own problems. Carolina clay, it's hard, man. You got to aerate that soil. So I've got this big Iron Maiden spike barrel that I'm rolling. I'm rolling the whole entire property. It's like 5 foot wide, but the house sits on 2 acres, so it takes a long time to do it. And then the rest of the property is for horses and the barn and stuff. And, so it takes me like 5 hours to do the property, back and forth and back and forth. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, God, I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I was doing this, I fixed this, I changed the light bulb and tweaked this and painted this and, fixed. And I go, why am I getting so much stuff done? And as I'm driving around for 5 hours on this, on my side-by-side, pulling this Iron Maiden barrel around, I go, you know what it is? I don't have to stop and check to see if my wife needs anything. Babe, can I get you anything? Because normally she works from home. Babe, can I get you anything? Do you need anything? Come back inside. Hey, I'm just checking in on you. Are you doing all right? Oh, I'm fine. She's typing away or she's on a call or something in her office. And I would go back, and that takes, you take 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 15 minutes here to check on your loved one, your better half. At the end of the day, you've racked up an hour or 2.5 hours of stuff not actually doing anything. So I was like applying everything that I normally would apply to my wife to something else. I got some more. I fixed something in the bathroom. I got, folded some laundry, some clothes, put those in a hamper, did a load of laundry. That takes an hour, back and forth and doing all this stuff. I got a lot of stuff done. Like today, I got a lot of stuff done. Cut my dad's hair, drove 45 minutes because my wife left something at the other barn that I need to bring tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, I'll get in the car and drive over there. Drove over there, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, hour and a half round trip. Now I'm doing the show, and the show I usually start at about 2 o'clock. I'm a little late behind right now. Get this wrapped up. Once I'm done with this, then I edit all the video. I'm wide open. I get stuff done. I'm getting stuff done. So my wife's out of town. And before she left, she said, I'm in a funk. I said, what kind of funk are you in? She's like, I'm just in a funk. I just can't snap out of it. I said, well, fucking snap out of it before I smack you around. Right. That'll be the day, right? She's like, I'm in a funk. And I'm like, I know, babe. Because we got some bad news. Not bad, like family news or anything. Just we were going on the right direction. We thought everything was going directly good for us in the good direction. But we got a text and we're like going, God damn it. We had everything all set up and we were going to do some stuff. And I'll dive into what happened right before she left. So stick around. I'll be right back. My dad, that guy. Yeah, he's still around. He's hanging out still. My dad's job, because here at the house, not his job, but he's like, I need to contribute to the house. I'm like, all right. So he always loads the dishwasher, unloads the dishwasher, he doesn't clean the kitchen, just whatever dishes are in the sink, he'll put them in the dishwasher. As far as wiping down all the countertops and the refrigerators from him dripping and getting shit all over the place, that's my job. I don't mind it. As a child growing up, that was my job before I could go out and play. Every Saturday morning, it was my job to clean the kitchen. So you get a method. If this is your time frame, if this is your penalty to get out of the box, you want to try to do it as quickly as possible to get out of the box and out and play and stuff. So I don't mind wiping down the countertops and putting stuff away and doing all that stuff. So my dad's job is to put the dishes in the dishwasher, run the dishwasher, and then put them away. Because we are in a well system, and we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville, population 2,500 people. We are on a well, and we have a septic tank. Septic tank's not unfamiliar to a lot of people, but a well is. Now, this well that we have, my dad, and I can attest to it now, my dad says it's the best water we've ever had. It's not that sulfur-smelling shit, because we're from Florida. You dive into a well in Florida, you're getting skunk eggs and apes at the same time. It just stinks. And rust, there's a lot of iron, so you see houses in Florida with all the rust and stuff on the side of the wall from the sprinkler system. No, not us. Our water is Aquafina fresh. Even though Aquafina sucks. Anyways, not a sponsor of the show, but they could be. We'd love for you to be. And we'll take back all the bad things we just said. But he puts stuff away. Now, my dad's thing is, as far as utensils, it's a dish, it's a pan, it's a fork, it's a knife, it's a spatula. He knows where those go in the drawer. You throw something else at him, it's like playing roulette. Where did he put that thing? Oh, I didn't know where it goes, so I forgot where I put it. And I'm like, fuck, going through all the cabinets, you're opening up all the cabinets. How many cabinets do you have, Travis? Oh, I got a bunch of cabinets. We got a big old kitchen. Well, can't you find it? No, because a lot of times it's just... Anyways, so I was going to make something the other night. I saw a TikTok video of how to make... it's canned chicken with an egg and some cheese, and you kind of stir it all up, and you make almost like a chicken burger or chicken nuggets or something like that, depending on which TikTok video you watch. So I was going to make them, but I needed something to make them nice and round. I didn't want to patty them in my hand. I wanted a nice round... I'm still trying to watch. I've lost 4 or 5 pounds since last week. Thank you very much for noticing. If you're watching me here on YouTube, see, I look purty. You're getting there. Jason Statham, eat your heart out. So I wanted something nice and round so I can, portion control. So my wife bought me these egg rings. You know what egg rings are, right? It's just basically a round metal ring that you put in a pan. It's probably about a half-inch tall. You crack an egg. It fries it in there nice and round. You pull the ring off. You flip it over. Bob's your uncle. I said, ooh, that'd be perfect to make a nice ring with this chicken mix that I've got. Can't find them. I'm kind of looking around. I'm like, oh, they look like this. My dad's kind of the type, well, it kind of looks like what's in that drawer, so I just kind of put them in that drawer. So I'm like, all right. So I kind of look in the one drawer, and I'm looking around. So I'd stick my head in my dad around the corner into his bedroom. I'm like going, Dad, huh? Where'd you put the egg rings? The what? The egg rings. Those things I got online? There are 2 of them. Oh. What's wrong? I don't remember where I put them. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Dad, where are they at? I'm making dinner out here. Everything's dying on the table here. It's dying in the past, Dad. Let's go. Tabletop. Oh. Did Amy take them to the horse show? Dad, why would Amy take them to the horse show? They're egg rings. It's not that kind of horse show. What kind of horse shows are you going to? Well, she must have taken them because they were in that one drawer with the other thing. And I go, okay. So I open the drawer. I go, Dad, they're not in here. I said, no, not a big deal. I got something else I'll use and stuff. He's like, yeah, she must have taken them to the horse show. I'm like, all right, Dad, let it go. Let it go. My wife said to me as we're packing up our stuff, or I'm packing up her stuff. This is Thursday morning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there at your horse show this Saturday, right? She's like, yes. What do I need to bring? Because anytime she goes to these shows, 9 times out of 10, there's not a hotel. There's not an Airbnb around there. So a lot of people pull up in campers. A lot of people have horse trailers with a small apartment on the front, which is what she wants to get. Not going to happen in my lifetime. Or they set up a tent or whatever. It's like a camping type thing. It's a big facility, but they don't have room for hundreds and hundreds of people. So they basically just bring all their campers, and someone will pull the trailer, someone will pull the camper. You know, the wife pulls the trailer and the husband pulls the other one. She rents, kind of like Airbnb, she rents like a fifth wheel and pays for it. And they bring it out there, drop it off, set it up, level it out. You show up, you hang out in there, you do your thing. When you're done, you call them and say, we're all done. They come pick it up. Boom. And it's for people who have like a fifth wheel sitting around the house that they don't use. You know, oh, we only go camping 3 times a year. Let's put it on, you know, bumper pole B&B or something like that, where you can rent someone else's trailer, mobile home. I don't want, that's not the right word. It's travel trailer type thing, whatever it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't make me look stupid. They drop it off, and she usually gets like a 35-footer. It fits like 8 people in it. I said, what am I supposed to bring on Saturday? Because you're not here to pack for me, babe. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a stupid man. I'm lost without you. Even though I get more shit done here at the house, I'm lost without you. What am I supposed to bring? This is the first time for me. It's, you know, going to a hotel, I don't have to worry about, they have pillows, they have a bed, they have sheets, they have towels, they have all that stuff there. I'm going out to this horse show. What am I bringing? Well, you want to bring a pillow. You want to bring your comforter, your heavy blanket, because I do sleep with a heavy blanket. If you don't have one and you have, it's like a blanket that swaddles you. It's heavy. It's weighted. It's got sand in it. It's not a full size blanket. It's like the size of a beach towel. It's big. It's nice. Bring that. Bring your compression socks, because there's going to be a lot of walking. Babe, I walk 4 miles every day, so this will be good. And then your toothbrush, your toiletries, and stuff like that. But just make sure you bring your compression socks. I'm like, okay, I'll bring my compression socks. And that's about it. I go, okay. I hope I remember this. I said, do I need to bring any food? Because, you know, who's making food? Who's making dinner? Now I'm not complaining. Now I'm sitting here panicking because I'm like going, well, how am I going to eat? There's nowhere to eat around there. Well, we got stuff planned. Okay, well, that's what I'm doing. So she said, oh, and by the way, bring a towel. I always bring a towel. I said, okay, all right. So I got my pillow, I got my heavy blanket, my weighted blanket, my nice parachute comforter. Oh, it's so nice because it stays cold all the time. There's no heat to my comforter. And I'll bring my toothbrush and toothpaste. Well, not toothpaste because hopefully she has it there. Yuck mouth. I'll use your shampoo and a towel. She's like, yeah, you can't use mine while you're there. Why can't I use your towel? I never knew this. We've been married now 11 years. And she says, that's gross. What do you mean that's gross? It's like sharing someone else's toothpaste or toothbrush. I said, really? I said, you really think using my towel that I used to dry my heavenly body off, you wouldn't use my towel? No. Babe, this is a first for me. Well, what do you mean? I've never heard this before, ever. Yeah, I don't know. I said, did someone get in your ear? Did someone talk to you about that? And I think that's what it was, because we've always had one towel. Because we have real nice towels, real nice fluffy towels. These are the towels that's going to wipe our bodies down for the rest of our life. I talked about this about a year ago on this show. And we've been doing this for 3 years now. You can go back and listen to all the other shows. They're great. I said, the towel that I use, you turn around and use the same towel, and we usually let it go for like 3 days. When it starts getting that, in the bin, get another towel. And just recently, I never knew why, like within the last 4 months, just recently, she says, here's your towel. I know, her voice changed. Here's your towel. This is my towel. Okay. Didn't even question it. Didn't even think about it. I know she puts product on her hair. She puts, wiping stuff on her body. She's a woman. She's got things that she does more than I do. Basically, I turn the water on, stand there for 4 minutes, let the water run over me, and then I get out and I dry off. Clean. And then she said this, and then everything started lining up. Everything started clicking together like Legos. And I was like going, so that's why we've been doing two separate towels. And then she would get mad. I would take a shower and grab her towel by accident. Just stick my hand out there and grab the towel and wipe myself off. And then she'd get in the shower behind me and then grab her towel. She's like, my towel's wet. Did you use it? Yes, just use mine. No, I want a new one. But she said, it's the equivalent of using someone else's toothbrush. And I started laughing. I said, for real? I said, I've never heard that from you, whatever. But anyways, I said, but a funny story is, I think when I turned 25 or something like that, out of school, on my own, my mom bought me a towel, generic towel from Spencer's Gifts or whatever it was, and it was divided in half. And half of the towel was brown and the other half of the towel was white. And written in brown letters on the white side said face. And then on the brown side, written in white letters, was butt. So you wiped your butt and stuff with this side of the towel. And I told her that. She's like, that's why I don't use your towel. I said, okay, fine. All right, whatever. When we come back, we're selling a house. And this is part of the whole thing that kind of threw a wrench into my wife, like her attitude. And she was just got really, really down about before she went on her horse trip. So I'll dive into that a little bit more when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not doing the other shows. Stick around. I'll be right back. Let's do it that way. As you guys know, or for our new listeners out there, welcome. We do this show once a week, every Friday, usually about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do this show strictly for me. This is my mental health. This is my, I don't have to answer to anyone for this show. If you enjoy it, if you can get some knowledge out of it, if you can say, okay, I can relate to that, I'm not the only one that thinks that way, we appreciate you listening to us. So I go to Walmart Friday, normal Friday, like today, is the day that I do food shopping for the house. And if we need anything else, like, salt for the water softener, insecticide, for spray bugs in the house, it's that time of year, bugs come in and all that. And I do the food shopping. And the only place here in town, not my town, not in Marshville, I have to go over to Walmart. And Walmart's a big super center. I love going over there. I do. I honestly do. It gets me out of the house, and I have communication with people. Saw a guy I met when I first moved here to Marshville. Real nice guy. He's a magistrate. Still don't know. He's told me 15 times. I still don't know what that is. But he's a magistrate for the town. And I saw him in Walmart. He's like, hey, man, you still doing the other shows? I said, yeah. He goes, I don't see it. I'm a friend of yours on the subscribe. I go, I had to switch, RSS feeds. And I was trying to explain to him. He's like, oh, no, all right, I'll find it. It's no big deal. So we talked for a little bit, talked about the bar, opening up the bar. I said, my wife and I are trying to open up this bar in downtown Marshville, the little town that we have here. And he goes, you have to have a niche. You have to have some kind of gimmick. He goes, because no one wants to spend money. No one goes east, is what he said. No one goes east to spend money. I said, well, what do you mean? The way we're set up here, we have Marshville. All right, if you have it on your left hand, you have Marshville. In front of you, you have Monroe. If you go over to your right hand on the table, if you're watching me here on the YouTube video, Marshville, Monroe, Matthews, and then Charlotte. So Marshville technically is like the last resort before you head out to the beach. It's like a small town, like I said, 2,500 people. Once you pass Marshville, they ain't shit out there. They ain't shit out there until you get about an hour and a half into like closer to 95. Then you start seeing like Burger King and KFC and all that other stuff. Marshville's the last resort. So nobody goes from Charlotte to Matthews to Monroe to Marshville to spend any money, is where he was saying. I said, okay. I said, but I got kind of a niche thing. He goes, well, if it's live music, that's what this town needs, because Marshville's the home of Randy Travis. I said, that's exactly what we're going to do. live music. And I say live music, not like I'm going to have Living Color up there. Look in my eyes, what do you see? Thank you. We're going to have there's so many not struggling music artists because but it's the guys who sit on the back porch and love to, they play in their garage and they just sit there and pick and grin and do all that stuff. We'll open the microphone up to them and sell beer and wine to them at the same time. I said, do you know the ins and outs? Can you help me along with it? He goes, I can introduce you to the right people, Travis, and I can get that ball rolling. I said, okay, great. He goes, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept, and I like it. And he's, the magistrate and stuff. But he also part-time does weddings and stuff. He does the whole pig. On the weekends, he'll do a whole pig for, competitions or weddings. He gets hired out for catering and stuff. And I said, we'd have the food trucks, and he's like going, yeah, it sounds great. In the back of his mind, I know he's thinking about how can I work my food into this bar. I said, yeah, no problem. We can have you out there too. So I leave him and I'm walking around Walmart and I'm sitting there just thinking about what he was saying and stuff. I wasn't paying attention and I got my shopping cart and I'm getting ready to turn down the aisle and a lady stops, not in front of me, but just which way you're going. And I go, I'm sorry. I say, go ahead. My mind's outside of the store right now. She goes, no problem. So she brings her cart in front of me and then turns down the aisle that I'm getting ready to go down. And she's an older woman. I say older woman. I'm 52. She's probably 61. All right. She's short. She's 5'4". She's got the dirty blonde and gray hair cut to a bob. Wearing just normal clothes, jeans, T-shirt. It's the fashion sense of this area. And we had a little chuckle back and forth. And then she goes, can I ask you something? In my mind, I go, oh, here we go. Sure, yeah. She goes, I'm kind of embarrassed to ask this. And I'm my mind's going 50 million different directions. I go, don't worry, lady. Yeah, I get embarrassed all the time when I leave the house. She starts laughing. I start laughing. She goes, the local food bank here hands out, Second Harvest hands out a gift card, and I'm this, and and as soon as she said Second Harvest, my brain literally went doo, not listening, doo. And I'm looking in her cart as she's sitting here talking to me. Now, when I'm sitting there, when I say talking to me, she's standing on my right side, and I'm literally on my cart, looking at her, not face to face. We're not sitting there high school sweethearts or anything like that. I'm kind of sitting there with my hands on the shopping cart, my cheek on my right shoulder, just kind of listening to her, dogging my ear down for her as she's talking in it. And she's like, and they only give me a $50 credit card or credit, whatever card, not a credit card, but credit on my card. And she's got a weird shit. She's got boneless, skinless chicken thighs or boneless, skinless chicken breasts in her shopping cart. Then she's got a rotisserie chicken. She's got batteries and then some other 4 items in there. I don't know what the other item was. And she's like, and they only give me so much. And you can see I'm buying this stuff in the car. She was like, I was wondering if you could help me out. And I literally said, what, outside? Do you need a jump on your car or something? So what do you mean? I wonder if you could help me out. I said, help you out with what? Now I'm getting pissed. She's like, with some money to help me get food. I stopped. As I'm sitting there talking to her, I could smell Black and Milds. Do you know what Black and Milds are? It's like a cigaretto or cigarello or something like that. It's got the plastic tip on the thing. You see a lot of homies out there smoking them. She smelled like Black and Milds. And I looked at her. I said, you got your thing from the Second Harvest Food Bank? She's like, yes. I said, there's a lot more other programs out there. You need to find them. She's like, okay, I'm sorry, thank you. And then she walked off. Now this woman, I don't know if I told her, she was white woman. She walked off and I turned the corner and I go, oh, fuck her. Why are you asking me? First of all, What am I going to do? Pay for your groceries? How is she expecting me to give her more food? Did she want to fill up a cart and me and her go through the line? Now, granted, I'm sitting there already halfway through the store. I got 3 cases of beer. I've got Michelob Ultras bottles for my wife. I've got all this other stuff, this ingredients and stuff for her. And I'm doing it on Wednesday because my wife's leaving on Thursday. She's making this baked ziti, so I got all the stuff for baked ziti. I've got all this stuff. You know, my cart is full. Can you help me get something? Can you help me out? Help you out with what? More food. More food, please. No, thanks. Let's see, where am I at on time? Yeah, we can take a little break. And I'll tell you a new series that has changed my life. Netflix series. It's changed my life. Maybe, I don't know. I told my wife, she's like, really? You're going to do that? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So stick around. I'll dive into that when I come back. So I'm trying to get in a routine. I've watched all my series. And the series that I'm watching now, I hate it. They release they're doing like a regular, the nerve of them. I'm paying for streaming service. They release 1 episode a week. No, binge them, throw them all at me at once. And I want to watch them all at once. Or just not watch them for however many weeks. And then I got to wait 10 weeks, but everyone's already watched them already. I'm upset about that. Can you tell? So upset. One of the shows I'm watching is Peacemaker. Peacemaker, the second series, and also the Platonic with Seth Rogen. I think someone told him to back that off a little bit. Only do 2 and then go on. Because he was bad for a while, and that's the only reason why I didn't want to watch him. So I watched The Studio. He was really good in that, and this show Platonic, I guess it's been out for a while, but the new season's out. So I watched the first season, binged it, all 10 episodes, and now they're releasing second season like 1 episode at a time, every Sunday or something like that. And then watching Peacemaker, and that comes out every Wednesday. And I'm watching Peacemaker, and this is like John Cena. Now, I've seen John Cena in movies, and they've been okay. The Peacemaker thing, it's kind of corny. If you haven't seen it, it's a spinoff of Suicide Squad. James Gunn or someone, I forget the guy's name, last name Gunn, Gunn, does the show. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I watched the first season, and then now second season's come out, and it's like every Wednesday. And I'm like, I got to wait next week. So in the process of doing that, I was looking for another series to watch. I'm like, this, and going through Netflix, and I go through Apple, and I go through HBO Max and Peacock and all the other ones. And I came across on Netflix documentary. I have a hard time saying that sometimes. Documentary on WWE Raw, or it's called Unreal or something like Unraw, or forget what it's called, Unreal. I said, well, I used to like wrestling back in the day, the Hulk Hogan's and the Dusty Rhodes and all those guys. And I said, let me just watch this, just because it shows behind the scenes of how they do everything. I'm always about the production of stuff. I'm really interested and in tune with how they make those matches work, and what's the pull, the heel, the rub, all that stuff. And I started watching. I said, God, this is really good for me. It might not be for you, but for me, I'm enjoying it. It basically follows around Triple H. Vince McMahon is gone. Ed McMahon's gone too. They're all gone. So it's Triple H, and he's running the show. He's running the storylines. We all know wrestling's fake, but how there's a fine line between fake and actually getting hit by a ladder or chair or something like that. They tell you that, and I believe it. Stories all day long. It's a soap opera. My dad used to call it championship acting. But I watched the first episode, and it's like 5 episodes. Watched the second one, I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. Third episode, oh man, I'm hooked. And I've got all 5. I don't have to wait a week in between. I'm sure when it came out, but not now. So episode 3 rolls around, and I'm watching it in the bedroom. I'm sitting in my little comfy chair in the bedroom, and I'm eating whatever meal I've made. And we got a nice big TV in the bedroom. 60-inch. Not as big as the living room, but still, it'll do. It'll be just fine. My wife's like, what are you watching, wrestling? I said, yeah, I'm really into this. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking this documentary about the behind the scenes stuff. She's like, really? I go, yeah. I said, I think I'm going to start watching it if I have enough time on my schedule. She's like, Jordan, my niece, and Lexi, all her nieces, are into this. Oh, they know the ins and outs. They know the storylines. They know all that stuff. I said, really? Your nieces? The oldest one's 31. I think the youngest one is 22 or something like that. She's like, oh, yeah, they know the ins and outs and everything and blah, 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 blah. I said, well, maybe, because they always come up for Thanksgiving, maybe I should start watching them. She's like, yeah, you can connect with them and talk about it and stuff instead of making fun of them all the time. I said, I will. Let me finish this documentary, and then I'll find out what schedule, because I'll have them on like Thursdays and Wednesdays, and then there's special matches on Tuesdays and Mondays, and it's just weird. I said, let me finish the documentary, and then I'll go in that and jump into the wrestling thing. So I'm excited. I'm excited because, I don't know, I feel like a kid when I watch it, because you're just like, yay, go good guy or bad guy, go famous guy that I like, that type deal. One of the shows that my wife watches is Big Brother. And Big Brother, I don't mind. I don't get into the and it's all subtitled below. Did you know that she was going to do that? And she said that you said this about her and this about. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just like watching the games. The challenges that they had, the veto challenge and the head of household challenges. I like that. I like watching it because it's not planned out for the most part, I guess. I'm assuming. Thought wrestling was real for a while, so heartbroken there. But Amy, my wife, will go, oh no, they're going to vote her out or they're going to vote him out. I'm like, how do you know? Well, this and that. I said, this game goes on for 24 hours at a time, even when the cameras aren't rolling. So we don't see everything that goes on behind the screens or on the scenes and screens. Throw them in there. She's like, yeah, I know. It's kind of, I'm like, I can't watch it. But one thing I notice, I always watch because I'm always about the production part of things. I'm always looking to see, they got the cameras up and the camera rotates around. I'm like, they should stick a logo on that camera, even though it says Sony on the camera on Big Brother and it's upside down. If I was Sony, I'd be pissed. Why is my logo on my camera upside down on the wall? I would send them a sticker and make sure it said Sony on the side of the camera. It's free advertisement. You got this audience. It's probably not that big. It's probably maybe 1 million people that watch it. Maybe 1 million people. 1,000,001 if I turn it on. And then they have the lens, around the lens. And this is the stuff I'm looking at. If you're watching me here on the camera, around the lens, you could put Big Brother logo instead of, this is a 36.5 millimeter dash whatever, f stop on the lens. There's a lot of missed opportunities there. When they have their head of household rooms, who wants to see my head of household room? Yay! And all that is a centerpiece in the middle of the room. It used to be decked out. Back in the old days, he used to deck it out all the time. But now it's just this honey basket that sits in the middle of the room that's got all the advertisers. It's got Cheez-Its. It's got beef jerky. It's got Prime, whatever, Powerade drinks. It's got all these different things in there right in the center of the room because it's free advertisement for them. When they shoot the pantry, all the labels are out to the camera. If they're not paying for anything, all those labels, you can tell right away who's paying for what and what's not paying for who. All the labels are turned in away from the camera. So next time you watch something like that, always check to see which way the label's going, and that'll tell you who's behind, the advertisement or paying for the promotion there. One thing that I started seeing here in real life, IRL, I learned that from some little girl the other day. Do you want to meet IRL? No. No, I'm kidding. But in real life and on the show are these stars that you see on the reality TV people's faces. When I say stars, about as big as my fingernail here, my pinky nail, right? And normally during Big Brother, it's when they're out of makeup. You know, they're not doing a challenge, they're just sitting around the house just being normal people. And they've got these stars on their face. I've seen it, like when I go out in public, I see mostly girls. They're wearing these like little star stickers on their face. And I kind of go, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? So my wife and I have this is where the separation between being in your 20s and being in your 50s is. My wife has a program that puts money on, I forget what the name of the card is, but it's a card that you can use to buy like medicine. For example, if I have a cold, you can go buy NyQuil. If you want to qualify for vitamins or something like that, it qualifies under whatever, and it's like 4 letters on the name or something like that. It's not WIC or EBT or something like that. We're not fucking poor. Sorry for all you po-boys out there. It's a card that's part of our health program where you can buy stuff that qualifies. Like she bought me a heating pad for my back that qualified for whatever. Bought it online. And for the longest time, she never used it. So at the end of the year, we had like $2,500 on this card. I'm like, we had to spend this money before. I'm like, where'd it come from? We put into it. Let's fucking spend it. So now every month we buy something, make sure it doesn't get to $2,500 at the end of the year. And we're sitting there, okay, how many of these things do we want to buy? Well, how much are they? $20. How much money do we got left, Chuck? You've got $2,500, Trav. All right, Chuck, I'd like to spend $1,500 on the nose spray. How many will that get you? Travis, that'll get you 42 cases of nose spray. All right, I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I need you. And for 20, it's a game show that you play. So she came across this one thing, and I get them all the time for like pimples and stuff. It's acne, the little stars, but they're not little stars. The one that she found that qualifies for whatever card this is, I know someone out there will tell me, little round dots that are flesh tone. And I say flesh tone, they're clear, and when you put them on, they kind of adapt to the color of your skin. So if you're a darker person, black person, it's clear. You put it on the skin, it's transparent. You can see your skin through it. It kind of looks a little weird on your face, though. Looks like a dried skin, but it's on your face. I had a pimple right here. Oh, man. In the triangle of death. This is the triangle of death right here. And it's probably from wearing my sunglasses or something, mowing the lawn, and sweat just builds up right here, and you get a little pebble underneath in one of your pores, and your pores doesn't like it. So what does it do? It bites it and infects it, and now you got a pimple on the side of your nose. So I took one of these things and stuck it on my face and walked around with it. And within about 3 days, it says once it turns white or starts falling off, go ahead and peel it off. Put another one on. Make sure you clean your face. So I started putting them on my face. They actually work. It took 3 days for the thing to go away, but that's better than me taking a needle, a hot needle, because that's what the normal remedy was, taking a hot needle and digging in that thing to try to get the fucking seed out, and then you're at the mirror trying to squeeze this thing, and all of a sudden, kapow! Kapaya! The seed flies up on the fucking mirror there, and you pull it off, and you're like going, that little motherfucker right there. And you roll it around in your finger for a bit, and you can feel it. It's like a grain of sand. You feel it, and you're like going, you fucking... And then you look at your face. Now you've got a scar. Now you've inflamed all the skin and everything around it. Now, not a scar, you've got a scab. And now you inflamed it. Now you got to deal with that for the healing process of however quickly your body heals. All right, Wolverine. And... you're embarrassed, so you put makeup on. I've got makeup up here because of that situation. If you don't believe me, here it is right here. Here's my makeup that I wear. I put that dot on this one. As soon as I felt it, I'm like, oh, I got one. I feel it. Why don't you use those dots I got you? Oh, yeah, you got me those dots. Peel it, stick it right there. How's it feel? Feels like a dot on my face. Is it working? I don't know. I'll tell you tomorrow. And I do my walk, and the sweat got underneath the sticker thing and fell off. So I came back, washed my face, put another dot on. Within 3 days, it was cured. I'm cured. The dots work. The dots work. We are selling our house. The last house we have in Florida. I don't know what the rules are for home inspections in Florida. I don't know what the the mentality of people who bid on houses, I don't understand any of that stuff. So my wife got a text before she went to her horse show the night before. She got a text saying that this has happened. And it just kind of sucked the air out of the room. So I'll dive into that. And one more little segment and we'll wrap up the show. And I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so stick around. I'll be right back. It's not a good start. Sorry. When I met my wife, she had this house. Nice size house, modest size house. I think it's 2,100 square feet. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and split floor plan. Nice house. Her and I, when we first started dating, that's where she lived. I lived in my house in downtown Florida. And I said, you know what? It doesn't make sense for the two of us to communicate. It doesn't make sense for us to communicate. To commute back and forth. I said, let's take my house. It'll probably rent out quicker, and it did down in downtown Orlando. So I said, I'll just move in with you, and we'll figure out the bills, and everything goes into one pot because that's what happens. That's what couples do when you're in a relationship after so many years. So we lived in this house, and then she got the opportunity to move up here to North Carolina. So we said, let's go ahead and rent this house out too. And so we packed our bags and moved to Beverly Hills, moved to Marshville Hills. And so we've been renting that house out. So that's 13 years we've been renting that house out. Anything that's come up, water heater, replaced it. Dishwasher doesn't work. Something doesn't work. We've replaced it. Just go ahead and, my wife likes to just throw money at it. Stove's not working anymore. Instead of having someone fix it, get a new one. That type mentality. So once we put a new roof on it after the last hurricane came through, we put a roof on it about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. Now the thing in Florida, you can't sell your house, or it's very, very, very difficult to sell a house with a roof that's older than 10 years old. Now this is the original house that was put on in 2006. So when we put it on 2 years ago, and all of a sudden we had to put a little bit more money into something else, something stupid. And my wife's like, you know what? We should have sold last year. It's vacant right now. Let's sell the house. Told you the story of me going down there and doing all the stuff and fixing everything up. Put it on the market. Was on the market for, a couple weeks. Got like 1 or 2 showings. Decided to drop the price of the house down. Drop the price of the house down, boom. 6 showings, 8 showings. Finally, someone comes through and says, we'd love this house. This is the offer. $5,000 less. They always try to get you down a little bit. $5,000 less than what you wanted. But what we pay at closing and the commission for their realtor was, you couldn't pass it up. We said, okay, good. Let's do it. Let's go through the process and do this thing. Week goes by. All of a sudden, the funding or whatever, I don't understand the business of that end. This is where I'm out of the water on this. Funding fell through, and they backed out. Sorry, they lost their whatever escrow. I don't know if they did or not. They backed out. So because we had so many showings, we've had other people that have done second showings and come back. And so my realtor reached out to the second showing people to say, hey, this couple failed. It's available now. Do you guys want to have first crack at it? Again, one family. I say family. I don't know. You only get their first name on the documents and stuff. Doesn't say the Joneses, the whole household. It just says whoever's qualifying for it. This one lady says, yes, I have an offer on the table for this house over here. I'm going to take that offer off the table and then come back and put an offer on this house, your house. I loved it so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was even doing measurements for the floor and, replace window blinds and all that stuff. She puts an offer in on the house, $5,000 less. The deal at the end of the day, the closing costs and the commission fee was a little higher than we wanted, so we responded. Do full price of the house, but lower these two ends. She bought it. Great. What's next? Home inspection. Home inspection goes through, and let me just say about the home inspectors out there. I know I've got a friend of mine who I don't know how he got into it. He just said, I'm going to be a home inspector now. I'm going to leave my job of 30 years of doing this, be a home inspector. All right, dude, whatever. Home inspectors, I thought in my mind, went through the house to make sure that the house was livable. I thought building inspectors went through the house and made sure that there was 4 walls, there was a roof, the electric was fine. Now, I know he's got a certain thing that he has to do, but in order for the house to be insured or whatever, I see that's where I'm kind of like in a gray area. Home inspector goes through, make sure roof is good, not leaking, check. Walls are up, yep, check. Not damaged, check. No water damage, check. Electricity, everything works. Electric is going through all the plugs, going through all the TVs, going through all that stuff, check. Panel box, yes, check. I know there's a little bit more to it, but this is the basic stuff. Windows, yep, windows are in the windows. They're there. No bugs are getting in, no bugs are getting out. Check. Structure of the house, floor of the house. No foundation problems? No. Check. No substructure challenges or anything? No. Check. AC works? Yes. On and on and on. The basic meat and potatoes, what they call the good bones of a house. This motherfucker went through the whole, I had a list of 50 things on the house that he made note of. Now, if you were to see the house and walk into it, you're like, oh, this is a beautiful house. But then when you see his list, you would think it was a fucking crack house on the corner of OBT and Main Street where fucking whores are fucking each other. And you can tell I'm pissed. Where whores and drug addicts are fucking passing needles and AIDS and shit in the house based on this guy's home inspection. Actually, this is how bad it was. I say bad. This is how I'm like going, what the fuck? What is this? He makes this big long, it's 51 pages long. 129 pictures were taken, 29 comments were made, and, blah, 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 blah. The wall plate cover for a light switch was cracked. Oh, you need to fix that. That needs to be fixed. And it goes under the top. Now, a lot of the stuff was, normal maintenance, normal home inspection maintenance, or something like that, something to that effect. Whether I could do it or the new homeowner would do it. This is there's water damage or something. All right, water damage. That was from the old roof. It just needs to be painted because we have a new roof on it. Just needs to be painted. There's a little driplet and drops. When you get water damage on the ceiling, it's got a little discoloration up there. Was going through just weird, stupid shit. Oh, the master bedroom sliding door doesn't lock. It doesn't. Yeah, because the thing's bent because we had renters in there. You got to bend the thing back up so it'll close. Fix or replaced or something like that. And it's always by a qualified professional. Everything was qualified professional. Fuck you. I don't need a electrician to replace a fucking wall plate cover. Goes through the refrigerator. Refrigerator doesn't cool. It's at a dangerous 41 degrees. Yeah, no shit. When I left there, I didn't want the thing chilling the whole fucking house down, so I turned the fucking AC or the thermostat down on the refrigerator because I know nothing was going to stay in there. This might need to be looked at. Stove worked. Bunch of other things, and you can tell I'm worked up. So a couple things stuck out in this report. We had a water heater put in 2 years ago. 2 years? Yeah, because it was 2023 on the tag. And at the top of the water heater, there's a brass thing. Looks like a faucet. There was corrosion and stuff all around it. And about almost to the bottom of the hot water tank, there's like this plastic cover that covers like the thermostat valve and stuff. That had rusted discharge all the way around it. I said, there's no reason why that should be that way. So Amy, can you call the people and I've got the, hold on. If you're watching us here on the YouTube channel, here's the invoice. So I called them because I said, labor is probably guaranteed for a year, but the hot water tank usually, depending on how much money spent on it, it's 6 years, 9 years, or 12 years. Now, my wife heard 6 months, 12 months, and whatever. She goes, oh, fucking great. I said, it's fucking 6 years. Oh, you said years? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said months. Okay, so what else? And when we had our AC, we have a brand new AC unit in there. The other one was it was dying. It was sweating. The handler inside, because it's in the garage, there was like a little bit of black mold. I say black mold. It's mold. That's just the color it was. It's not the quote-unquote black mold that killed me, that type of stuff. There was a little bit of black mold, a little bit of mold. Let me take the black out of there. Oh, man. And because of the moisture, it was kind of sweating. The unit outside was sweating. So anytime a unit sweats, that means there's a Freon leak somewhere. Everything was like freezing up and it would drip down. So because we have a new unit in there, they put the new unit in there and the mold stains still stayed. So the building inspector, home inspector, said possible mold in the house, in the air vents and whatever and stuff. You need to get a HVAC guy out here to clean all your ductworks and stuff. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I've never fucking heard that before. Never. Spray some bleach in there. So we get all this back. I have the list of the 10 things that she wanted to have fixed in the house. Here it is right here. You can hear it. Switchblade covers. There's a dryer vent needs to be cleaned. Toilet in the guest bathroom. Irrigation backflow thing. Just normal house maintenance stuff. And it says at the very top, replace the water heater and have a mold inspection done on the house. My realtor says that the mold inspection on a house is a large ask. It's not a common ask. You do not have to do that. I'm like, great. Now, this realtor is a high school friend of mine. She said, you can put that on the buyer. If they feel that there's mold in the house, let them worry about it. Okay. So we came back and said, we're going to replace the little nickel and dime stuff. We'll look into the water heater because it's under warranty, so give us some time to fix that. But we are not doing a mold inspection report. That's on you. I'm not spending any money on that. And then we'll probably fix up little odds and ends stuff, as a good faith method. So we sent that to the woman, to the other realtor. The woman agreed to it. So my wife and I are now making a plans for me to go down back to Florida to fix these little nickel and dime things. That evening, Wednesday night, before my wife leaves for her horse show, she gets a text from our realtor, my high school friend, and says, this woman has backed out now. Because someone has talked to her, and this is what she's telling us. Someone has told her that you do not want to live in a house that potentially could have mold in it. Inspection or no inspection. My wife, her heart just broke. We were ready to sell the house. We were getting a good deal on the house. She was getting a good deal on the house. But here's the thing. Once you have a home inspection, that's now public for anyone else that comes in to look at that house. So my wife was like, we were almost there. We were almost crossing the finish line. And this person backs out now. So now my wife is like, what do we do? Do we drop the price of the house? Do we go down there and fix all these things? I said, yeah, I don't mind. I said, when you say we, you're talking about me, right? She's like, oh yeah, I still have to work up here. She's like, you can put your shows on hold until you get back. I said, yeah, I know, but there's, I got contract issues and stuff that I have to deal with. So I have to, make sure it's okay for me to leave the office here. Well, what do you think you need to do? What do we need to do? And I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? What if we were to drop the price of the house $10,000 with knowledge that all this stuff, I say all this stuff, the people that are looking at this home inspection is going to ask for all these other things that aren't as important or as important as this other woman. I said, what if we drop it $10,000 and say, look, we're not fixing anything because we dropped this price $10,000. I don't mind going down there and painting a wall or two or something like that, but I'm not going to spend all day on fixing things in the house. When we can just go ahead, I said to my wife, I said, for the mental health of me going down there, you having to deal with my dad, first of all, where's the egg rings at? Leaving the refrigerator and the freezer doors open all the time. All the time they're open. We walk in there, it's wide open. Fucking shut it. Dealing with the horses that we have here on the property, dealing with the horses that we have off of the property, you working, off campus here at the property, off campus 3 days a week, home 2 days a week, and then the weekend, and then your training schedule, and then all this other stuff. I said, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's drop the price of the house, $10,000, whatever it is, to make all this other stuff go away. I said, but the question is to you, babe, because this is your house. Well, it's our house together, but I mean, how much do you want to take away? How much are you willing to let go? How much do you need to make on this house to make it worth our while? I said, you need to answer that question. So she said, I know. I said, but I don't want you to sit there and go, someone comes in $100,000 less than what we're asking for and go fucking sell it to them, because that's what you would do. She's like, I know. I said, so let's be smart about this. Let's be adults. My wife's 45, so we're adults. She's almost an adult. I kid. And let's make sure that we're doing the right thing by, are we going to lower the price to attract people who wouldn't put so much emphasis on this 51-page home inspection? And when I say home inspection, like I said, there's a nick in the door that needs to be fixed. The back door doesn't lock all the way. Fix that. It was a great deal of cosmetic stuff. So my wife's at the horse show. I reached out to the guy who installed the hot water tank, talked to him. He's going to go out there and look at it. He said it should be under warranty, but I'll look and see what's actually happening with it. It might be something I can fix on site. I said, great. And tomorrow, Saturday, I'm going to drive to this horse show, and hopefully we'll have somewhat of better news. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening to me work all this stuff out. I'll talk to you later. Okay. See you. Bye. Bye. See you later.
Hello?
Hey, it's Travis.
Hey, Travis. I was leaving you a detailed voice message, and then you rudely called me back.
I'm so sorry for that.
That's all right.
I have a tendency of doing that.
Yeah. All right. I'm at the house here now. There's 2 leaks. The one on the top of the water heater is leaking from a CPVC fitting that was original to the house. Meaning that when they plumbed the house in, they left the CPVC fitting, and we put a transition piece onto the existing CPVC fitting. So the leak is on the fitting itself, where the plastic meets the metal. I have a picture of it that I can send to you.
Okay. Now how did that start leaking? Because there was no leak before, prior to the water heater going in, and now we have a leak.
Well, you're talking over a year and a half ago. So
right, but still, the existing water heater prior to that had been in there since the house was built.
Correct, and the fitting that's leaking is the fitting that was put in when the house was built. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I understand completely. I just don't know if maybe putting in the new water heater loosen that up. I'm not pushing blame on anyone. I'm just
no. I'm saying we attached to the existing plumbing. That's just like that's just like saying, well, you put a water heater in, and then now I got a leak on the water lines inside the wall. You know what I'm saying? That's existing. But that's not a big deal.
Okay.
That's not an issue. The main issue is on the bottom. leaking at the weld where the element spreads into the tank. So I reached out to A.O. Smith. All right, they will warranty the tank, but they're not warranting the labor.
Well, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't mind paying for the labor to fix it as long as the tank's over.
I go to the girl, I'm going, really? You know, so I mean, you know, if we review this, you know, that section of pipe that's leaking, I'll just cut out and repipe it. It's not a big deal.
Awesome.
You know, but I just wanted to tell you where it was leaking from. And when I first looked at it, I thought the PNP valve was leaking, but it's not. It's leaking from above it, and so forth and so on.
That's a manufacturer's defect. The metal into the plastic.
But the house is, well, how old is the house? 20 years old?
No, well, I say 20 years old. I think it was 2006, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's the nature of the beast. This piping, even not the CPVC, it's not UV stable. So as it gets old, it changes color from cream color to like almost a pinkish type brown. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, I understand. I live in a house right now that we're redoing the bathroom in. I told my wife not to push on the CPVC pipe because it gets brittle. And
it's brittle as can be. So if you have to cut that, do not cut it with a pair of cutting pliers. You know, a pair of PVC cutters. Take a fine-tooth hacksaw and very slowly, and you'll cut that with no problem.
Right.
If you go in there with a pair of PVC cutters, the thing will shatter into like, you know, a million pieces.
Oh yeah, it's like brittle fingernails type stuff. Yeah. Okay, so where do we go from here as far as?
They gave me return authorization. They're sending it to me via email and stuff. So I mean, basically out of pocket is, you know, for us to disassemble the water heater, bring it back to Lowe's, get a new one, put a new one in, you're looking at $450. Okay.
If there's any way that you can lessen that, I don't mind paying the $450. But if there's anything you can do to lessen that, by all means, you know.
Okay. Well, you know, I'll lessen it by fixing the leak up on top of the sleeve.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
It's just a time thing more than anything. Because, you know, Lowe's is such a pain in the ass. You'll get there for the return, and you'll sit there, and you're killing an hour for them to verify that the return is a legitimate return, and you're giving them the email that was sent to you by the manufacturer that I think they think that you're all full of shit and stuff, so they have to verify that. Then they got to go back and get the one.
Well,
it's just a pain in the ass.
You're talking to the choir here. I spent 20 years from 94 to 2014 for Home Depot at 4 different branches. So
yeah, so you know the drill, you know, and that's you know, it's just the nature of the beast. You know, it's the wait and wait and wait, and they all suck. I mean, I order stuff online and stuff. They say it'll be ready in 3-4 hours. I go there, and then they send somebody to go down the aisle and pick the item up. And then I still have a guy sitting there for 45 minutes.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, do me a favor. As soon as you can get that done, that'd be great. We're not on a time schedule or anything, so as long as you can work, there's nobody in the house. There's not going to be anyone in the house until the house is sold. Make sure that, I don't know if you're qualified to do it. Are you still at the house or no?
Yes, I am. I shut the power off.
I was going to say, can you make sure that breaker is off so nothing happens?
It's off.
Okay.
This ain't our first rodeo.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I really do.
I mean, this is what we do. We're also licensed general contractors, licensed electrical contractors, and licensed building inspectors. So, I mean, when we come into the, you know, the first thing we did was shut the damn breaker off and shut the water off.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have other people, oh, you want us to shut it off? No, stupid. Let it flood the fucking garage. You know? But that's the Florida mentality, trust me.
All right. Well, you got the green light to make sure that okay. Swap that out, and the best you can do on the price would be beneficial. Whatever you need to do and benefit both parties. Okay. I understand you got to make a living too.
Yeah. Do me a favor when you get a chance. Just text me an email address.
You got it.
All right.
I'll send it to you right now as soon as I hang up.
All right. Thanks, Trav. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.